Okay, Karen, we've got to go through Fitzroy. We're heading to Brunswick. We're going to Ceres.
Well, you know, it's a long way to drive for tomatoes, but I hear they're bloody good tomatoes.
I sort of want to grab some while we're there because I want to do this beautiful, long and slow-cooked tomato sauce.
Like a Napoli.
No.
So, Rich, you're looking to grab some tomatoes and cook them long and slowly with some extra virgin oil, a little hint of garlic, and really bring out the sweetness of a fresh tomato rather than using the tin.
I could not have said that better myself, Karen.
I reckon we park over here. What do you reckon?
That's pretty good.
That's pretty good.
That must be Melissa.
Yes, it must be. We didn't get lost. Hi, how are you? I'm Karen.
Hi, Karen. Melissa.
Richard.
Hi, Richard. How
Pleased
are
to meet you. Very well.
Welcome to Ceres Community Environment Park.
We've heard so much about you and we had to come down and check out the community spirit for ourselves.
I'd love to show you around.
Because I hear you've got some wonderful heirloom tomatoes, and
We
I've got this
do.
great recipe that I'd love to do.
Well, Melissa, it's great to be here in Ceres, just a stone's throw, literally, from the CBD. You just wouldn't believe there is this beautiful farm space.
Yep, so Ceres is a community environment park, and we're basically here to connect people to the environment, to get people to think about their impact on the environment, to get people to connect with food systems, with our energy systems, with our water systems, and to be inspired to make changes in their life. So we're a sustainable education place, but also an urban farm. So we've got chickens and we've got the farm here.
With so many layers to Ceres, can I ask you what is the single most gift you think you give back to the community here?
It's going to sound corny, but I would say heart. I would say that we're a place where people can come to escape the hustle and bustle of their lives. We're a place where they can come to learn. We're a place where they can come and connect with their food system in a real way, talk to our farmers. Yeah, it definitely gives a lot of heart.
Melissa, thank you very much for picking these beautiful tomatoes.
You're welcome.
And thanks for the chat about Ceres. It's been great hearing all about it.
Thanks for
Fantastic
coming.
day, thank you.
See you.
So I reckon we go off and cook up a stall.
So, Rich, how can I help?
All right, to kick off our slow-cooked tomato sauce, we're going to blanch them and take the skins off. So we need to core them first, like that, and cross them at the bottom like that.
You know, tomatoes, Rich, are full of vitamin C. They're so good for you. And they also have this antioxidant called lycopene, which is cancer-fighting.
All the more reason to cook from scratch. Okay, so on the stove I've got a pot of boiling water. I've also got some iced water, which I'm going to plunge the tomatoes in after they've been in there for about 30 seconds, into a bowl to drain, and then we can peel them quite easily. Not all in at once, possibly around 5 or 6. Now, Karen, these look ready. You can see they've all split, so straight into the iced water. And that's going to really refresh them and make them easy to peel. Look, they only need a quick shock in the iced water and straight out. Karen, you can peel those, which you're doing. I'm going to do the others.
The skins are slipping off beautifully.
All right, while you're finishing off that, I'm going to start our lovely sauce, which is finely chopped onion, together with about 4 cloves of garlic, a little bit of bay leaf. It's quite simple. The magic of the sauce is all in the fact that it takes about 2 to 3 hours to cook.
Well, that's where the magic happens because you're reducing all the moisture from the fresh tomatoes right down to an intense sauce.
Exactly.
Just roughly chopped, Rich.
Roughly chopped, yep. We've got about 2 kilos of roughly chopped tomatoes. I need to get onto the onion, the garlic and the olive oil. So in a pan, I want about 140 mils on a medium heat. Going to add our onion, our garlic, a little bit of salt, a little bit of bay leaf.
Fresh bay leaves have so much flavour. They do still have a little bit of flavour when they're dry, but if you can get your hands on, or even go and plant one in a pot or in the ground, you've always got bay leaves on hand.
Okay, a couple in. Karen, the onions and the garlic have softened. It's now time to add the tomatoes. Here we are. Look, as you said, it does look like a lot. But after about 2 or 3 hours, they're going to cook down into the most beautiful sauce. And that's where the magic is. It's all in the last ingredient, time.
Correct, Rich. It is the secret.
Yeah. Okay, Karen, that's 2.5 hours. You can smell the sauce?
Oh, it smells so good.
Okay, now we need to get onto the pasta, and you need to get onto your salad.
Okay, I'm making a little Italian leaf salad, Rich. I've got some radicchio, rocket, wheatloaf, and some parsley.
Beautiful. When you're salting pasta water, it's a good tablespoon. Okay, wonderful Barilla gluten-free pasta, penne. Okay, so you've got to bring it to the boil and cook that as per instructions on the packet, which is usually about 6 to 8 minutes.
Rich, I'm making a simple dressing for this bitter leaf salad.
Yep.
Just some sherry vinegar, extra virgin oil, salt and pepper mixed together and poured over the leaves.
Simple, classic, like our pasta.
Well, we just want the flavour and the sweetness of the tomato to shine through.
Okay, I've got to check on my pasta.
When you're making a simple dressing like this, it's really 1/3 acid to 2/3 oil. Some salt and pepper.
Salt and pepper, I'm going to give you that. All right, I reckon our pasta's going to be nearly done. I'm going to add it straight to the pot.
That's
Bit
a
of a
very
drain.
Italian way to do it, Rich, because you're putting the pasta straight into the sauce, and because the pasta is really hot, it takes on the flavour of the sauce.
Okay, last one for the pot. And now we just want to give it everything a gentle stir to marry all those flavours together. Karen, you can see how it's all come together, the glossiness of the olive oil, the tomato, all the flavours have melded.
Magic, Rich, you're done.
Okay, I'm going to serve it up into a large bowl.
And I'll dress the salad.
All right. So next, I've got some St. Bernard's bacon I finely sliced. It's fried until beautifully crisp over the top. You can never be too generous. Some pine nuts, just for that extra richness.
Smells good, Rich.
Good. Okay, my last little bit is some lovely sheep's milk pecorino cheese. Very Italian.
Lovely sharpness to the cheese.
There you have it, this beautiful slow-cooked tomato sauce with St. Bernard's crispy bacon, pine nuts and pecorino. Karen, the beauty of this dish is in its simplicity. It's simple flavours, great quality ingredients, and the flavour really shines through in the end.
And the method of cookery just emphasises the simplicity of the dish. It's just bellissimo.
Bellissimo. Karen, there's nothing better if you're time poor than having a very quick smoothie. I reckon you should just put your feet up.
Okay, I'll look forward to tasting it.
Okay, it's not rocket science. It's a little bit of chopped banana, which I've grabbed from the freezer. Now you can have this frozen in a bag. So straight into you. Some beautiful Driscoll's raspberries, about 125 grams, I suppose. Now, this is where it gets interesting. Hemp seed, lots of omega-3s, lots of omega-6. It's got amino acids, lots of protein. It's your choice to see how much you want to add, but I'm adding about 2 tablespoons. Now, sweetener. Look, you can add coconut sugar, you could add any sugar you like. I want to add a little bit of maple syrup because I think it goes really well with a banana. I reckon it's about a tablespoon. Okay, now I want to add a little hemp oil. Wonderful source of zinc, magnesium, calcium, and it's a great way to get all these vitamins into your diet without taking a pill. So again, probably around a tablespoon. Lucky last, coconut milk. Look, I'm making this for Karen. She probably won't have so much, I'll have more. So around 500 mils. There we go, it doesn't get much more simple. Okay. Hope Karen likes this. There we go. Sticking up beautifully with the frozen banana. Let's hope I've got just enough. Now a little sol seed, hemp seed on top, just for a little bit of a decoration. Okay, banana, coconut and hemp smoothie. It's looking thick and delicious. I'm hoping that Karen likes it. Karen!
Delicious.
Okay, you got a bit there.
challenge for me to develop a FODMAP-friendly risotto. But I have come up with this lemon, thyme and spinach risotto, and I think it really does hit the mark.
All right, where do we begin?
So to replace the onion in the risotto, I'm going to use the tops of the leeks, the green part.
We can't use the white part because that is the part that's filled with all the olesaccharides.
Correct.
The sugars, basically.
So, Rich, what we'll do is just finely chop the leek, sort of like you would an onion, and then slice over it finely.
Okay, yep.
The leeks have been thoroughly washed, and I did take off the outer cuff because, Rich, it can be a little bit too fibrous. So before we start the risotto, though, we will get everything else ready. So we're flavouring it with some thyme. So maybe 6 to 8 sprigs, Rich, if you could just pull the thyme leaves off the sprigs. And a large bay leaf. Rich, the first step is we'll throw a generous amount of extra virgin oil into the bottom of a wide base pot over medium heat. And then if you can give me a hand, we'll throw in the leeks, the thyme and the bay leaf and cook them for a couple of minutes.
Right.
And then, Rich, we'll flavour the leeks with some garlic oil and also some lemon rind.
Okay.
This product is really intense but has fabulous flavour. So I won't get too carried away, just about half a tablespoon.
So it's like we're replacing the garlic in the recipe with the garlic oil.
In with the lemon rind.
See, a lot of people these days would maybe just grab a microplane, do it straight into the pan, but it's a really good little trick if you do find that it's too lemony that you can whip it out later.
So after a couple of minutes, the leeks have softened slightly. We'll add 500 grams of the arborio rice. It's a short-grained Italian-style rice. It's perfect for risotto. Rich, this is the most important single step in making risotto. It's toasting those rice grains off so they're lovely and toasted on the outside, and each individual grain will stay individual and not clag together.
Okay. That I didn't know.
Now, Rich, I've got the FODMAP for you chicken stock on the simmer here. And once the rice is well toasted, you start to add the stock, a couple ladles at a time, as the rice absorbs the stock. So it's a gradual process.
I've got this FODMAP for you lemon and thyme risotto. This is something you can use if you're time poor, and it's also great to travel with, that you can actually just simply open this, add some stock, and finish it off with some cheese if you want.
Rich, along with the leeks and the lemon and the thyme, in this risotto, we're going to add some chopped spinach towards the end of cooking. Would you mind chopping 150 grams of spinach there? So I'm really turning this risotto a really vibrant green. And could you also grate me some pecorino? Now, traditionally, it's finished with Parmigiano Reggiano or Grana Padano, but we're using the pecorino, which is FODMAP friendly. So, Rich, I'll start putting a couple of handfuls of spinach in now, because we've got about 5 minutes to go.
Okay, cool. Here's my cheese. I reckon that's enough for us.
And we're almost there, Rich.
Fantastic.
I'll just stir this through. It really needs time to not only wilt, but cook a little bit too. You don't want that raw spinach flavour in the risotto. And the rice is just taking on the last of the stock. So off we come. So, a little bit of extra virgin olive oil. Now this has a lovely fresh fruity flavour that's going to help bind
Pecorino.
the starch from the rice, and also the pecorino goes in at this stage too, and then it's ready to serve. Rich, that's a FODMAP friendly lemon, thyme and spinach risotto.
Beautiful, Karen.
Now we have a special guest here today, maybe to taste this risotto. Her name's Joanna and she's an ambassador for FODMAP for you. Shall we have her come in?
Yeah.
Hello. Hey, how you doing?
Rich, how you going?
Very well.
Welcome. Timing's impeccable. Thank you. So, Joanna, Rich and I would love to hear how you became an ambassador for FODMAP for you.
Sure. I've had food intolerances myself my whole life. I spent the first half of my work life nursing, and then I went back to university to study dietetics. And it was when I was studying dietetics that I came across all these different diets. I started following the low FODMAP diet, and within 2 to 3 days, there had been such a massive change in my symptoms. And
So it all suddenly made sense for you.
Absolutely. Now, there's 4 different types of FODMAPs, and not everyone is going to be sensitive to each FODMAP group. So the low FODMAP diet's 3 phases. You do your first phase where you remove all the FODMAPs. Now, if that settles your symptoms, we know we've removed something that was triggering you, but we still don't know what it is.
Yes.
So the next step, we do the re-challenge process where we systematically do structured challenges for each of the different FODMAPs. work out which ones that you react to a lot, which ones you tolerate a little bit, and which ones you're absolutely fine with. And then you can move to the third phase where you then tweak your diet to suit you personally so that you're only restricting the foods that cause you symptoms.
The way we look at it on the Intolerant Cooks is it's not about what you can't eat, it's about what you can eat.
Absolutely.
So start with what you can eat.
Yeah,
Don't
absolutely.
look at what you can't eat.
Yep.
Yeah.
And if you're struggling, the FODMAP for you range is all laboratory tested and proven to be low FODMAP. So
It's a safe move in the right
easy-
direction.
Absolutely, and it tastes great.
Joanna, the knowledge and information you've shared with us today about IBS and the FODMAP diet has been invaluable for Rich and I and everyone else watching. So thank you so much.
Brilliant, it's been great being here, thank you.
Can we
Yeah,
have a little bit more?
Yeah.
absolutely. All right, come on, let's all dig in.
Rich, I thought we'd finish the day off with a cheeky little dessert. You are cheeky. And it's quite simple. It's almost like a deconstructed bread and butter pudding in a
Perfect.
way. I'm using some berries and some hemp seed and nuts, but first we'll make a custard with Liddell's lactose-free milk. So 1 litre into a pot
Yep.
because we need to heat it up first. So 1 vanilla bean, split down the middle, scrape the seeds out and drop that into the milk. I've also got another herb here that I want to add to the milk, and this is totally optional, but if you can get your hands on it, it's some lemon verbena. It has a gorgeous citrusy, lemony aroma, and it flavours the milk beautifully. While the milk's infusing with the vanilla and the lemon verbena, we're going to add 6 yolks to a bowl, Rich.
Yep.
Along with 100 grams of coconut sugar. I'm using the coconut sugar because it has that lovely caramelly flavour, and I want to sort of taste that in the custard. Along with 6 tablespoons of corn flour.
Okay, I'm just going to give this a bit of a whisk first.
So that's a large amount of corn flour for a litre of milk, but we're making a very thick custard.
Okay, yep.
6 egg yolks, 100 grams of coconut sugar and 6 tablespoons of corn flour. You'll end up with a lovely sort of cafe latte paste.
Yep.
Okay, Rich,
Okay.
milk is a little hot. Now we'll just pour a little bit of that into, just mix slowly. We don't want to wear it.
I reckon that's mixed.
Great, back into the pot. Thanks, Rich.
Here we are.
So while the custard's chilling, let's get on to some bread.
Beautiful whole grain, low FODMAP friendly bread from Baker's Delight.
So quite thick slices, Rich. You can cut the bread any shape you like. We're going for a round today, Rich, and we don't need the crusts. So I've got 4 rounds here.
Yep.
Next, we're going to caramelise the bread, and to do that, we need to butter it generously with Nuttelex and then dip it in some coconut sugar.
And then it's going to
do
crisp
each
up on
side.
either side.
It is, because we're going to then pan fry it. As weird as that sounds, it's a very traditional French way of treating bread, actually. So that's quite generous with the Nuttelex, and then dip it in. So if you could dip, I'll butter.
Okay.
And then a little bit of sugar on the tray.
Looking forward to this. This is yum.
So we've got the bread. It's been Nuttelexed and coated really quite heavily in some coconut sugar.
Yep.
These will go into a large fry pan over medium heat, and we'll caramelise the Nuttelex and the coconut sugar on the outside of the bread. So, Rich, you can see that the Nuttelex is melting,
Yep.
and once it's dark enough, flip it over. Oh,
Look at
that.
the colour.
So what's going to happen as they cool down,
Look at these.
it'll be like a hard toffee, if you like, buttery toffee on the outside of the bread. So we need now just to do a little bit more prep before we plate the dessert. We've got some scorched hazelnuts here, which I think will work really well with the toffee flavour from the coconut sugar.
Bit of a classic combination.
So if you could chop over those, that would be great. Rich, while you're doing that,
Yep.
I've actually got some toasted hemp seed here. Have you ever done that before?
No.
It's really nutty. So that's going to go on along with the toasted hazelnuts. Next, it's going to be some of these gorgeous Driscoll berries. Rich, I'm just going to use the blueberries and blackberries for this dish. They'll work really well with the verbena. But I'm going to slice these blackberries up and use the inside and do the same with the blueberries. I think we've
Okay.
got everything we need. We've got the caramelised bread. We've got our berry slice. We've got the toasted hemp seed, the toasted hazelnuts, a couple of plates, and the magic will happen.
Okay.
Starting off, we'll just pipe the custard randomly over the top of the caramelised bread and the plate.
Now, this is something we've never done on Intolerant Cooks, which is use a piping bag. It's more...
We're stepping it up. Okay, and then we're going to do with some blackberries first because they're bigger.
Okay.
And then a few of the sliced blueberries, just randomly. And then we'll follow with the toasted hemp seed and the toasted hazelnuts. This is extremely nutritious and extremely pretty at the same time. And let's just thread the whole thing back, Rich, to remember the touch of verbena that's hidden in the custard. Let's garnish the plate with just a leaf or two from the verbena. It's really fragrant as you're picking the flowers off. They're just releasing their perfume into the air. It's a sensory dessert. You can smell it, you can almost taste it. A very cheeky little dessert with simple ingredients, Rich. I mean, we started with some milk and eggs and a loaf of bread, a little bit of sugar and butter. And we've ended up with brulee bread with custard and berries.
Look at that. Perfect. It's a little bit decadent, a little bit healthy.